Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new AirwaySim video. Basically, what I wanted to do is I want to make a mini series. I don't know how many videos I'll make, but I'll be playing AirwaySim a little bit just for fun on the side. So I decided, why not? Let's make some quick, fun videos out of this. Um, Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to run two simultaneous AirwaySim worlds. We're going to one run in modern times, which is starting in 2003, and one in airline generations starting in 2010. Both of these are going to be American-based airlines, but both with completely different goals. Now, there's a few things to note. Um, this modern times world is very special. There's no limited number of aircraft outside of your base HQ, which means this world can be a pure minimax world. We're going to try to maximize the amount of cargo and passengers we fly. And in airline generations, I did start a little bit, quite a bit later. As you can see, this world started in 1950, where this world started, well, this year, a few days ago IRL. And this world ends in 2035. They both end in 2035. And I kind of wanted to see what I could do. So in this world, we're going to mini-max for passengers, but also happen to carry as much cargo as we can. And in airline generations, we're going to fly as much cargo as we can, period. And I want to see if I can kind of innovate some base airports. It will be a bit of a hassle. Now, the first innovation, and I have shared this before, is Bradley. This is a very special airport in a very, very clever location that is exactly in between New York and Boston. This kind of means that after some time, we'll be able to collect most of the demand from both New York and Boston airports in one singular airport, which will result for us to be able to do some really, really cool things cargo-wise. And this is a one, in this world, you're only allowed 1,000 aircraft outside your main base. So we're going to have to use our very limited aircraft supply cleverly in order to maximize this game world. Now, the first thing we're going to do is, of course, before this game started, I had scouted out some open demand. If you guys are curious, the best way to find open demand is simply fly from a Western airport hub that produces cargo to China. Most people kind of forget that this is a decent pool of demand in the game, especially some of the Chinese airports that aren't the first ones you think of, like Beijing and Shanghai. And there you go. I know this says 4,500 kilos out of 50,000, but if you guys have watched any of my cargo videos before, you'll know that seeing some amount of cargo demand, which is not like 1,300 kilos for whatever quirk of the math of the game, if this number is like around 1,000 to 1,300 kilograms, it means there's no demand. And if it's any higher, any random fraction higher than that, then you know it's an open route with no competition, roughly speaking. There are exceptions to this rule, but anyhow, let us start to kind of supply some of these routes. Now, I have no particular plan for scheduling or routing, but what I have done is I have scouted out the best stopover route to China using the plane I'm going to use, which is the 757, of course. Now, keep in mind, we will just use minimum turnover times because for cargo, turnover times don't matter. I don't know why, don't ask me. They're not really affected by delays, only cancellations. But the cancellation rate is lower than you'd think by using minimum turnaround times. So yeah, of course, if you care about your company image, don't do this. Cargo airlines do not care about their company image. So here we go. And anyways, yeah. What I was going on about before I cut myself off is I have already scouted out, in my opinion, the best route from Bradley to China, and that is through Fairbanks, roughly, and Yakutsk, which I didn't actually know was in AirwaySim, but this is a perfect routing that will give us maximum payload on our 757 on the way there, and by going through UHMA on the way back, which is some airport in Russia around here. Unfortunately, this airport does have a curfew, so we're going to have to use other airports sometimes, like UHMM or Cold Bay, which is somewhere around here. I don't know exactly where. Yeah, but as you can see, 38,000 kilograms payload on the way there. That is like 90 or more percent of the regular 757 demand. So that's perfect. And all we really have to do now is see what percentage of demand each bar is. So with 57,000 total, this is about 15,000 kilograms, so about 30,000 out of 110,000. It's like 25%, just a little like between, it's like 27%. That is like 30%, and that is like 45, something like that. Yeah, so we'll just do closest approximation. Like it's just this, uh, 30, 40, 30. The main reason we want slightly more light and slightly more heavy than the actual size of the partition is the default partition is very biased towards standard cargo. For passenger flights. So in case we happen to be competing with passenger flights, we're not from Bradley to Chengdu, but you know what I mean. It's better to overcarry a little bit of heavy and light cargo. Light cargo is of course not as worth as much as standard, but it's more likely to be not competed with. And heavy cargo, of course, just make your heavy cargo partition a little bit bigger than it needs to be. Of course the stopover is close. So let's just continue to shift this along until it's open. There we go. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and make a 7-day schedule right away. And one thing I did forget to do is we're going to have to go view this route. Let's click edit. Oh man, is there any way I can, I want to copy paste the, no, I don't want to remove the text stop. Okay, well, we'll just remember the airport codes. UEPFA. Okay, that's actually not too hard. Yeah, for when we open a new route, I want to copy paste the routing so I don't have to make a new one, since I'm just going to be making a bunch of routes to China to start, because as I said, if you don't know, it's almost like a cheat code. If you're starting late into the game, which I love doing, by the way, because it gives me something to aim towards. Like, if you start at the beginning and you just end up in the top in like a year, kind of boring. If you start at the bottom and you have to kind of build your way up to try to catch up, I find it really, really fun for some reason. So yeah, we're just going to find the routes with a bit more, I'm surprised Chongqing has that little demand, but Qingdao has so much demand. That's fine. And as I said, we're going to do PAFA. Where was it? UEEE. And what's our UHMA? Yeah, and this is the fastest way, by the way, to do these stopover pairings, and then you just copy paste this, and you can copy paste it back every single time you want to use it. This is exponentially faster than using the really, really annoying to use UI. So yeah, where's my scheduling page, by the way? Yeah, as you can see, I have no plan or rhyme or reason. I'm just opening the route and seeing what happens. I'm gonna be starting at 0:30. Yeah, like if the schedule doesn't line up and at the end, like there's like a 8-hour unfilled gap for cargo or something, I'm just not gonna mind too much. I could fill it with a little domestic route though, so but we don't need to be efficient with our planes. We just need to use them at all. So yeah, that's pretty good. Let's see, what's Kunming like right now? I doubt Kunming's very good. Yeah, 28K. I mean, that's worth making, just not now. Nanjing is usually really great. It's near Shanghai, but not so close that they share cargo catchments, so that's great. Once again, we're going to use the same routing for all the airports in China. Due to the nature of the stopovers, they shouldn't be too inefficient. It could be more inefficient to try to find a unique one for every route, but I'd say generally it's not worth it. I mean, China's a big country, but when your plane is flying a little bit farther, but at the end of the day you have a maximum payload, it doesn't matter. The maximum payload is much, much more important than flying an extra 600 nautical miles by going slightly indirectly. To be honest, if you're flying routes that are good without too much competition, you won't even notice. And I would highly recommend, oh, I put this on the wrong day. Let's just quickly remove that from the schedule and change that to the right day, which I think was Thursday. We can definitely fit another flight in here, which is perfect. Hopefully, though, we don't run into UHMA when it's closed, because I don't want to find an alternate. Qingdao. I think I need to go somewhere closer to make that happen. Dalian. Nope, not good. Changsha. Okay, that's better. Let's check one. Everybody's favorite city after certain events in 2019. But I think Changsha was a little better, so let's use that instead. And as you can see, this is kind of the demand pool we are going to use to get our airline started before we start competing with domestic US, which is kind of the big ticket items, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, these routes also aren't going to make money at all for the first little bit, so like I might not play on this world significantly for another week because we are going to be burning money like it is water. Like yeah. Oh, and UHMA is closed. That's annoying, but what we can do is we can use this as our what's it called, maintenance time, our weekly maintenance, and take off after. So what is that, 8? Yeah, I like to use like nice round numbers for these things because the few minutes you waste in the maintenance or whatever, it's not worth the time microwaving the buttons. I'm not even joking. That is a very important consideration when you plan on running an airline at this scale. And I'm also going to show you guys later how eventually in the other world where we have unlimited aircraft, we don't have unlimited aircraft in this world, right, is I'm going to show you guys how important it is to literally schedule with the most IRL time efficiency and not in-game time efficiency. It sounds pretty silly because most people are really concerned about the in-game efficiency, where IRL efficiency is pretty important too. You don't want to burn out. You don't want to spend all day scheduling like a few routes. You know what I mean? Like at some point you want to be churning out the routes as fast as you can click. And I have some pretty funny ideas for that. Of course, there won't be 7-day scheduling or even anything that resembles it because that's not very IRL time efficient. So yeah, this will be our starting schedule in Atlanta. Hopefully you didn't waste any free route image on it, though. I think I did probably. So whoops if I did. Yeah, 15 free route image was wasted. That's fine. Who needed that anyway? Yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, it's 15 free route image. Yeah, and we're going to start to compete on the U.S. domestic front really significantly, too. Once we start to capture New York, of course, the kind of plan is to basically use obscure airports like Bradley to overlap domestic U.S. Demand into oblivion with 747s. Preferably, the 747, what's it called? -8 freighter. But because those might not be available early enough, the 777-200F might be preferable. Also, it requires a much shorter runway. I think it only needs about 2,200 meters of runway to get a 100-ton payload, which is a really, really ridiculous performance, by the way. So I do hope to use that. We will need 2 757s to complete the 7-day, but I should be able to buy them and schedule them quickly off camera at some point. Now, with the 7-day schedule made, now all I need to do is, this is an important step, by the way, is a route image, and we need to start marketing. The 50 and the 60 should be okay. Actually, 50 is already kind of sketchy, so what we're going to do is we're going to do something like this, and just turn this for 2 months. Like, right, this will be burning money, like, don't get me wrong. Right, but we're not going to be making money anyway, so why bother? And this will help us make money in the long run, actually. This is something that most people don't know about, is route marketing, which is actually extremely worth it in most cases. Yeah, I just need to make sure not to overlap. I hate this UI. Let's see if there's a better way. I think this is the better UI, because then we can kind of like link ourselves into the marketing page. without too much trouble. So this is Nanjing. Let's do 3 months. Perfect. Changsha, let's do 3 months. And this is the route with already 60 image, so we can do like 1 month and a week or something like that. And this should, oh, we have too many marketing campaigns active. So that will be all our marketing campaigns. Is there anything else I need to do? Not particularly, actually. So yeah, that's kind of it. Like, oh yeah, there's one more thing. Price management. For some reason, 104% just overperforms 100%. Nobody knows why, but that's the way it is. Anyways, that's enough of this world. Let's go quickly take a look at our passenger world. I already started this one before, so it's already kind of rolling. So what we've done so far is we've made 1 7-day schedule plus 1 thing we messed up. So instead of returning the slots, I already had a lot of mistakes with my slots. If we can take a look at my income statement here, we can see that we spent 5.3 million on canceled slots by accident. That's not really worth it. Yeah, do not cancel your slots if you can, especially at the beginning of Worlds. For some reason, they jack the slot price up to the sky so that you can't afford any slots, can't afford to expand quickly. Of course, this just rewards people who really know what they're doing and can expand exponentially faster than other people. Like, if I was like planning to try hard this world, you basically start with long haul, so you don't have to pay very much for slots. On big trunk routes out of LAX or something like that. But I didn't really scout much before I joined this world. I still totally could go leave and restart in LAX or something like that. But I'm not really interested in the competition in LAX. In the short term, in the long term, I am. But instead, I started somewhere much easier to start out with in Charlotte. And basically, we're going to go compete with the LAX big boys and that kind of stuff later, once we have kind of a definitive plan on how we're going to do it. And yeah, if we're going to become one of the biggest airlines available, it's going to be a very interesting challenge because I'm going to want to do it systematically. If you kind of are trying to non-systematically dominate, you're going to run into issues in scaling the amount of time you spent planning versus just expanding mechanics. You know what I mean, mechanically speaking. So yeah, we have some interesting plans for how I'm gonna combat my opponents, let's just say. It is difficult to run a cargo subsidized airline, so we're gonna have no spare home bases. Charlotte is the 10th most populous base in the US. Let me show you guys. Open new route. No, not open new route. Route planning. And if we change this to America, yeah, as you can see, Charlotte lies exactly here at 10th for the most populous airport. Now, that doesn't mean we need to take every airport above it in order to maximize passengers, as airports with more long-haul demand, such as San Francisco. I think I will open San Francisco as a base anyway, just because it's so significantly above 10th. Right? Like, long-haul demand kind of messes with the numbers here, because some of that long-haul demand can never be filled. For example, if you're a long-haul route with 150 demand, well, that's 150 demand. You can never fill it because there's no long-haul plane that's economical to fly to 150 demand. However, 150 demand, perfect for an A320. So, yeah, that's why we're probably not going to take. We would never take something like Newark with a lot of long-haul demand, or Miami. Right. Thankfully, they're below Charlotte anyway. But I think we basically plan to put bases in all 10 of these airports eventually. I don't know what order we're going to come out with, but we'll think of something. John F. Kennedy is the only one that I might skip for Orlando or Phoenix, but we will see. Anyhow, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode. I don't know how often I'll release these, kind of just progress updates, because it'll be much of all the same thing. Scheduling 7 days. These short haul ones, I don't know how much longer I'll keep making these 7-day schedules before I just switch them over to whatever I can fit in a day. Right? Long haul, of course, is always worth 7 day. It also doesn't take very long. Um, like as you can see, I knocked out that 7 day for airline generations in just a few minutes, right? Even while talking, and my brain is exponentially slower. It takes like 99% of my focus to just talk at all. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.